They're the worst.
They're the worst.
Hello and welcome to episode 21 of Reboot or Deboot. As always, I'm Noah Davis.
I'm John Peanut.
And we are here to talk about True Grit, the 1969 film directed by Henry Hathaway and written by Marguerite Roberts. Big picture.
Big boring.
I hate to call it boring, but there's a big picture for me. There's a really big hump you have to get over, and that's John Wayne, because I don't know, man. It's almost rock Dwayne Johnson levels. It feels as though he's just John Wayne in every single movie. He can play this straight-laced, super badass cowboy, and then he can play this drunkard who's, shooting rats and shit, and it still just feels like John Wayne, and that's not the best compliment for an actor.
Well, and I also feel someone who probably has the lens of not really knowing much of John Wayne's work. Like, I know of John Wayne. I haven't watched many John Wayne movies. This, I hope is not his best work, but
It might be.
I think throughout there's just this notion of like there was no care given to this movie sort of across the board, and we'll get into it with negatives and things, but it's just how it feels. It just feels like cheap Hollywood rollout quickly Oscar bait kind of stuff.
I mean, well, that actually might be fair. Yeah, true. But I mean, I think there are a lot of things to like, but we'll get into do that now. You want to start positives or me?
You can start.
Okay. I'll say first off that the color grading really nice to look at. It's got that kind of that 60s film feel, but it's kind of saturated, kind of Incredible Journey that we talked about the other episode. Kind of had that color palette, and it's just a pretty thing to look at, even though some of the shots they might have been intentional. It just felt like the shots were just kind of showing things, if that makes sense. There's no element of representation. I didn't get any of that. It wasn't it didn't feel as though these shots meant anything more than just here's something pretty to look at. Not my favorite. But my biggest positive is the script. The dialogue is insane, accurate, realistic, almost too realistic, because sometimes it was hard to follow what they were saying. But it's actually insane just how many turns of phrase that you literally never ever hear, even in old westerns. Even movies that you would think people do all this research and all that, you don't hear half these phrases. I mean, it's actually kind of crazy, and that's why it had to be based on a book.
Right. That's why I wonder how much, exactly was just heavily thefted from the book. But
I mean, I assume all of it was, because it does not read like a movie. I mean, it's insane just what they were saying, and just I mean, even something as simple as, instead of, get down to the ground, he was saying, right down to the ground, right down to the ground, belly down. Just, it was so weird, and I really loved it. But, it just wasn't serviced by a certain actor, that's all I'll say.
I don't know, man. I think you're being generous to the other actors, too. I don't know that anyone...
I think they were fine. Not anything crazy. I enjoyed Robert Duvall. It was cool seeing him younger. I don't see a lot of younger Robert Duvall movies. He was the guy with the mark on his lip who was shot in the bottom lip.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Lucky Dead Pepper.
I think the girl was good.
No, I disagree entirely. I think the girl was mids as hell.
You don't like the girl?
I think she was overacting a lot. Like,
compared to John Wayne, it looked Shakespearean,
I think you have blinders on for John Wayne.
You're
letting his muck make everything else look good.
You need to see more John Wayne, because it's crazy how the man. We'll get into the negatives. Never mind. Hold on. Got any other positives?
Well, I just gonna piggyback off the script bit for a second, just
Sure.
because it reminded me exactly as you sort of said, the clarity of the writing and the very specific, vernacular and sort of phrases and how quick some of the, like sharp wit
Oh yeah.
responses were. It just felt like you were reading it, like it's crazy how
It really
much
was just
of
a
a
book.
book this movie was because
Mhm.
again, I rarely would say that that's a compliment, but in this case I think it's a compliment.
Yeah, well, I think it's a compliment because it's maybe not sadly, I don't know how to phrase this, but it outshines almost everything else, if not everything else. That's why it's a positive, you know? Whereas that kind of gives the movie this weird balance where everything else is kind of, it's fine, but the script's good, you know? So it's a positive, but I don't know if that's good for the movie, you know? Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, even her first meeting with Rooster and him introducing his quote unquote family, I mean, just all of that was insanely, I don't even know, not snappy is the word, just snappy, just boom, 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 basically quick draw, but fucking using old Western vernacular. Um, and I mean, I did enjoy the journey. I will say I do like the character work, you know. Even though again John Wayne, I do like the character work of Rooster and the girl, just having this uh bond. It's kind of weird to call it a bond because it's like, did they even really like each other? But this sort of paternal or fraternal kind of relationship, that was nice to see. And then I actually like the ending, but I didn't like how he got to the ending. But we'll get that in the
I
negatives.
Yeah, obviously I agree completely, and I I do think the big brother take, I guess, that they tried to lean into, despite him being like, I don't know, 60 years older than her, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
just felt a little weird, but everything else, again, for the most part, plot wise, was fine enough. There was nothing glaringly bad. And I do think the costuming, obviously, and set design was nice.
Hmm.
So those
Hmm.
were also positives for me. But I'll be real, that's pretty much all my positives. Like the script was
Yeah.
cool and it looked good, and that's about it.
Well, I mean, and my kind of suggestion of character work, that's kind of just the script again, you know? It's kind of
Right.
just another facet of a singular positive. But because I don't know, the direction was fine. The editing was okay. I mean, especially, I mean, we'll get into the negatives, but I don't think the action sequences, or at least, sorry, the shootout sequences, I don't think they were done particularly well. I think there are older spaghetti westerns that are better at it. So it's kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The writing was just so good, it's hard to even think of other positives. Any negatives you want to get to first?
Oof. I mean, I think we just have to start with the
We have
elephant
to.
in the room.
Yeah, the giant
Uh,
drunk elephant in the room.
yeah. I mean, I get why you're bashing on it so much. To me, it was just more like annoying than it was outright bad. But you could just tell this was like old Hollywood legend who's just phoned it in.
Yeah, I even think it's kind of neat that they have, this washed up Hollywood legend play this washed up Marshal, or yeah, was he a U.S. Marshal? Yeah, U.S. Marshal. I think that's even a neat element at play, but it still doesn't help it. I still, I think,
And was he washed up in Hollywood?
I mean, at this time, I mean, he was aging out for sure. He didn't die that long after this movie. Um, I mean, I'm just making assumptions. I wasn't really there for that time, but but I just the man can act. I will say he can act as a verb. He can show up to a scene. He can remember his lines and everything. But I just think he lacks this, I don't know, nuance or gravitas. It's just there's
Yeah,
something off.
missing. There's something missing.
And I just think he gets a pass because it's just, oh, he's John Wayne. How can you hate him? And it just kind of, I think it holds this movie back a lot. I'm not saying everything else was way better, but just, it was glaring. It was glaring.
Fair enough.
Any
What else you
negative?
got for me? Yeah, well, that was my first one. Then now it's your turn.
I will say that let's see. It kind of suffered from the of the timeness, whether it was the overacting, the they had nice simple cuts, but then they do these random dissolve transitions that just felt like an old TV movie. Um it was just once or twice, but it's weird that they decided to go for
Right.
that. Um
No,
let's
I'm
see.
with you entirely. The editing, for me, was one of the big things that made it so of the time. And yes, there are those elements of the overacting and, the gunshot delays or the punch delays and those
Oof.
types of things, which I can always just, I can look over that a little bit
A
of the
little bit.
time. But when the whole thing is shooting guns and fighting and the Wild West,
Mhm.
just give me a break. Like, it it will be a travesty if the reboot is just not a objectively better for all of the reasons we can guess.
I
The
mean,
John Wayne character is played by a better actor. No one's overacting.
I
It's
have
gonna
not
look prettier.
I have not seen the reboot since it was literally in theaters in 2011, 2012, whenever. Um, but I can assure you it's going to be better technically. Technically it's going to be better. Now, they might have made some changes. I don't know. I don't remember that well, but I know for a fact it's technically better. Um yeah, bringing to that kind of the timeless, and you were talking about how everything's. It would be one thing if everything weren't about shootouts, but this movie kind of is all about shootouts. I don't get how we have this kind of realistic take on her shooting that big hefty some bitch revolver and it like
Yeah.
blows out of her hand or whatever, but then the shootout afterwards, John Wayne is on a horse one arming a rifle going straight at four other horsemen and they're just shooting in front of each other in this small patch of grass. It's just, it's weird how we have this element of realism and then we have that where
Because
John Wayne's
it
basically Superman.
part of that quote unquote realism is to exaggerate how much of a hero he is and how badass he is.
It
Even though
just
he's the stupid drunkard, he can one arm a fucking shotgun.
it just throws me out of a movie. It's exactly the same as Drug Wars climax, where one guy standing still with a rifle could have taken it.
Next, you're gonna tell me you didn't like Wanted because they bended bullets.
No, because that established an element of unrealism, whereas this movie never does that. It never does that once, other than literally the shootout climax. It's just crazy. John Wayne would have been better suited to just stand behind his horse, two arming his
True,
rifle. Would
true.
that's literally that would be the safest bet. That would be the easiest bet. That'd be the most accurate bet. But no, can't do that. Uh, yeah, I didn't like the climax. I didn't like the secondary climax of her getting pushed down the rattlesnake cave. That
Yeah,
felt
I
weird.
unnecessary.
It
And
yeah.
oh, go ahead. No, no, you can go.
I was just gonna say it slowed everything down to just a stop.
Right, which again cuts to that pacing bit I was alluding to, where it maybe boring is the wrong word, but it's just slow. Like
Yeah, I don't
if you're gonna do a
ever I'd call
movie
anything
like
boring.
this, if you're gonna do a movie like this, keep the pacing tight as the script.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have me meandering through scenes when it's just objectively not that beautiful or cool. It's one thing if we're looking at fucking spaceships and Arrival. It's a whole different thing to be looking at a bunch of fucking white men saying problematic shit to a little girl. Like,
Yeah, I I also I know you don't, absolutely adore the genre, but I will say if you've watched the Fistful of Dollars trilogy, whatever they call that, Good, Bad, and the Ugly, etc., um, those movies, they might not be for everyone, but they have this awesome grand sense of scale So it's just cool to look at just for an almost, I mean, it's probably based on fake bullshit, but the recreation sense. And then this movie just does none of that. While also, yeah, the Texas Ranger talking to the girl. I mean, it's realistic, I guess, but well, not fun to watch.
Yeah, so gross. Which is perfect segue for my next negative.
Mhm.
Why the fuck were you including that here? How did that help our narrative at all? That she's a basically little girl taking care of her brother who's got his own needs, and now she's alone in a hotel making jabs. Well, I guess the whole group is making jabs at the fucking chicken and dumplings, and then in walks in our ranger, and he's like, "Oh, hey, pretty young thing, I was fixing to give you a kiss."
Steal a
And you're
kiss.
like, "What?" Like, what?
Important wording there. Steal a kiss.
Yeah.
Again, it's not super fun to watch, but I mean, I don't know, having a dastardly kind of anti-hero, you know, it does give the plot a little flavor to stand out to, because I mean, especially if you're looking 1969, bro, Westerns were coming out probably every month or two. So, you need something to stand out. Not saying it's great or anything, just I can sort of excuse it. I don't know. Not every hero or protagonist needs to be a cool guy.
Say so.
I mean, yeah, I don't like, I don't think I would have written the character to be a rapist or whatever he was, but
Mhm.
I'm just saying, making him a dastardly guy, so you're almost rooting against the guy who's helping her, has this kind of, I mean, kind of hate triangle going on between the three, kind of an opposite love triangle. I don't know. It did add an element to that, but again, that might just be the book and not the actual movie. Any other negatives?
No, that pretty much wraps it in bow for my take. I mean, I will say it's on par with the other things I've said, but I think it should be worth actually just saying aloud. 2 hours plus is just too much. Just make it 90.
Yeah, I will agree here just because I didn't like that post climax. It kind of just sucked the air out of everything and all the excitement. So I just not my favorite. I
Like, you don't
will
even need her to go home, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I did like that though.
I mean, I didn't dislike it, but you chose like 3 endings and you gave them all, you know?
Right. Yep. I mean, that's just a problem with that seems just a problem with movies just
Yeah, that's Hollywood for you.
its entire, artistic lifetime. That's just a problem with some movies. And then my last negative, it's funny because we just watched Insomnia, which had the opposite of this. Is this the worst freeze frame ending?
It very well could be. I mean, it's an
Because
ugly frame to end on for
not
sure.
only is it a freeze frame, it's a freeze frame that happened about 10 seconds before the actual freeze, ending, and it's blurry as though they just had that in motion and said, yup, that looks good. So, Insomnia, best freeze frame ending, and then True Grit, worst freeze frame ending. That's the scale I think we have for right now. Any etc.
Um, Not particularly. There was one small one, which again may have come up through the reading of the wiki and stuff, but I just want to make sure I don't miss it. Which is, do you know there's a sequel?
This is a sequel?
No, no, there is a sequel.
Hmm,
John Wayne plays the same character again, but this time Katharine Hepburn is the little girl grown up.
that's weird.
1975, one of his last movies.
I mean, okay, is it also based on a book? If it is, then okay. If not, I don't love it.
Yes, same author.
Okay, well, at least they mine the same well, I guess. All good. But do I have any interest in watching it? I don't know.
Yeah, you
That's
fucking do.
I don't know. That's a different question. I might, put on the list.
Yeah.
Etc. Oh yeah. I just had one etc. Real etc. Well, I did write Dennis Hopper and Robert Duvall just because it was I don't see them younger. All the movies I've seen them, or most every movie I've seen them in, they're old men, so it's just kind of weird. But the actual etc. I refuse to believe Rooster Cogburn would bring all of his whiskey in glass bottles. I just, I'm just gonna say it because why would you risk that? You have
Yeah.
leather canteens or not canteens, whatever the word is for it. The leather pouches for drinking things. That it won't break, it won't leak. Why would you bring whiskey in a glass bottle? That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. I think that's it for the actual review. What are your hopes for the reboot? Because I know
I
things.
mean, I partially stated them, but one, obviously the John Wayne character, Cockburn or whatever the fuck his name is. uh,
Cogburn.
yeah, that's what I said. Is obviously better acted.
Jeff
I hope they
Bridges.
don't change too much of the basic plot, but I will be happier if the ending is a little bit tidier. And as long as the pacing is right and they make it prettier, I'm okay if they keep the runtime as long. If it goes above this, like if it's more than 2 hours, like I'm gonna really be pissed off. But my hopes are that they clean up the things we dislike, which are largely acting and editing bits.
So Jeff Bridges plays Rooster Cogburn. Do you know who plays the Texas Ranger?
Mm-mm.
Matt Damon, baby.
Let's go.
Your favorite actor. I know it. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
I know he's your
I
favorite.
mean, once we watched him and our alien friend put together that beautiful, beautiful Last Duel movie, I just knew.
Right. I thought you were gonna say Elysium, the District 9 director. I thought that's what you meant by Alien. And
No,
then
I meant
yeah,
actual
no, I
alien.
got you. Both Matt Damon movies, both not as good as like I don't even know if could have been. Just not as good. Okay, Letterbox, IMDb, what have you?
Yeah, sure. So first IMDb trivia. Robert Duvall and the director didn't get along, but apparently him and John Wayne did.
Who, Robert
Um,
Duvall and the director?
correct.
No, I
And so there
mean,
was a
sorry. Or the director who got along with John Wayne?
Robert Duvall and the John Wayne got along.
Oh, okay.
Robert Duvall and the director did not get along. So being
Gotcha.
on set, he basically escaped to sort of John Wayne and took all the feedback and stuff through John Wayne, and then the director sort of had to again, like it's come up a couple times, but just how much fucking bitching and babying the directors have to deal with is just insane. Like
Yeah.
these people really have egos, like they're fucking doing brain surgery or something, and not just like reading, glorified reading,
I mean,
public reading.
I like the idea. Actually, the new Wonder Man show dealt with it, but I like the idea of imagining an actor just adding random bullshit and coming up to the director, and the director just goes, "No, wait, what?" you know,
Right.
just why
Or
would you think to do that?
like again, all props to method actors, and like I will not have this as a besmirchment of Daniel Day Lewis in any way, but can you just imagine like
No,
Abraham Lincoln coming up to Steven Spielberg and like trying to give him notes? Like, actually, I
now
think
Steven.
it's like give me a fucking break, dude.
Yes, Mr. President.
um anyway, so
I
other
mean, hold
trivia.
on, hold
Oh
out.
no, keep going.
Daniel Day Lewis literally made people carry him from a wheelchair so he could play a guy in a wheelchair. So just so we're clear.
Yeah. No, again, and this is not disrespect. I mean, he does a great job when he does it that way, but it's just so childish. There's something so silly and playful about how serious
Yeah.
an adult can take
Is
literally
Duvall
playing.
a method actor? Do we know?
That I don't know, but
Hmm. He
uh
seems like the type.
he could be. Yeah, he could be. I just he also seems like too old for that school, like
I
back in
don't
my
know,
day.
but maybe it just
We just
wasn't as
learned the parts.
publicized. Because nowadays it's ripe for articles that are just people read it for no reason. Oh, Jared Leto sent a rat to whatever. Who cares?
Uh
Maybe it's
on a
like that.
quick Google search, AI overview, it says his acting technique centers around, quote, talking and listening, prioritizing naturalistic behavioral truths over theatrical displays or emotional fireworks. So,
Wow. So yeah, maybe I understand the director's point of view.
yeah.
And also, fun fact, method acting isn't really what we call method acting, but the term has just taken over, so we call it that now. Fact.
Do you know what the real term is for whatever that
No,
is?
I think method acting is literally just getting into someone's actual method, such as, a school of thought, and devoting yourself to that method. But then the most popular method was just staying in character the whole time. So just kind of absorb the term.
Interesting.
Yep. Not a hundred
Um,
percent on that, but I'm pretty sure.
and then uh, there. Remember that scene? Well, I mean, you know it because you quoted it in our talk, but
Hmm.
um, where the gang on horseback and fucking Cogburns chasing them and shooting and whatnot.
Do you
The only
mean the
scene
cabin shootout or the end fake, not fake shootout, the
horseback,
end
horseback,
unrealistic shootout? Okay.
horseback. Yeah. John Wayne was only a close up, and he was
Yeah.
riding on a trailer,
Oh, yeah.
and the rest was his stunt double.
Y-
So
Very obvious.
yeah, I know. I'm just like, so even like metaing it a bit, like it's obvious that it's not even ridiculous that John Wayne's doing these ridiculous things because they can't even like force it to be some John Wayne heroism. It's like literally the stunt double did do that, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously not a real gun, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, was forced to hold those guns, and he actually did the work. And again, yeah, it's
exactly.
kind of a commentary on
Yeah,
drunkard Rooster Cogburn.
right. Um and
Oh,
then
man.
apparently John Wayne hated this movie and really disliked the little kid's performance,
I
going so
mean,
far as to like when he won the Oscar for this movie, saying that Richard Burton should have won for King Henry VIII in Anne of a Thousand Days.
yikes. I mean, when you got the stature to say that, awesome. But damn, bro, you don't have to go pooping on your own
Yeah,
freaking. Other people who worked on the movie, John,
yeah,
right?
right. And a child, like give her a break, like you can just say like, yeah, it wasn't the best movie I've ever been in, but I'm happy to have won this award. Instead, he's like, nah, that little girl sucks.
Yeah. Also, I mean, just keep it to yourself. Just shut up. I mean, if
Right.
other, I just couldn't
Well,
imagine you do a job well and people love it, and then you go, actually, that shit sucked.
yeah. Well, and let me tell you, the next fact is going to set that one straight, and then we can move on out of IMDb. But this is why I think these two are nicely related. John Wayne was initially promised that his daughter could play the role, but the director refused to cast his daughter.
This son of a bitch. Holy
So now he's just
crap,
looking
he's
for
even
anything to
worse.
be, more judgmental of the kids. So his
Yes.
daughter
No, I
should
can
have
be
been
even
it.
more judgmental of his acting too, because now he's just a shitbag on top of bad acting. Yes. I mean,
Fair enough.
that's crazy. That's John Wayne can go suck
John
one.
Wayne, baby.
Again,
Um,
I mean, I hate that he's in it, but it makes a lot of sense. If anyone wants to watch an actual good movie of John Wayne, Who Shot Liberty Valance, or The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, great one. It's awesome.
otherwise, no one I talked about, I think off air, but it's based on a book. True Grit came out in '68. The movie came out in '69. Again, like less than a year turnaround time between novel release and movie release, which is just not right. Just crazy.
I mean, I assume someone just read the words, and just said, "Man, this is so realistic," and then just bam, movie.
And then that website, remember that I get some of the number figures for, or I should say that Wiki gets some of the number figures for that sometimes I check
Right.
facts and try to get bigger details on.
Hmm.
Um, One, it's under maintenance, but when it was last retrieved, they quoted this as having 31.1 million box office in
Okay.
1969, which would have been 274 million today.
I mean, that makes sense, man. I again, this whole giant generation was freaking brainwashed to think John Wayne's worth their time.
So she was nominated for a BAFTA, and I said, "Well, I don't understand. Are BAFTAs a for British movies? Because I know the Oscars are American, but they're not for American movies necessarily, and like non-Americans can win them. But for some reason, I just kind of thought the BAFTAs were like British film and
No, I mean,
TV, and not like
I,
everything."
no, I think anyone can get it. I think, I think, I'm not 100%, but I think Americans can win BAFTAs. I think I've read that plenty of times.
Well, it's the case for this too, so it doesn't matter. And then it was nominated for Best Original Song at the Oscars too,
Ugh,
Literal True Grit.
and that opening
Um,
song.
yeah, but I literally don't even remember it, and I watched this movie like less than 24 hours ago.
It was just the opening song, and it was okay. It felt as though it were a modern country song, or modern in the '60s, trying to sound as though it were a Western song, and it doesn't work.
Hell yeah! All right. Well, that's pretty much it. So made 275 mil. Obviously, Oscar bait for John Wayne, who didn't deserve it but got it nonetheless. And then we've got some letterboxes here. So it averages 3.7 stars. So people generally favor it.
Yeah, people like it.
That's up there with some of our best rated movies.
I mean, that's
Um,
the John Wayne deflection shield,
right,
the killer strategy.
but when I clicked through basically all the low reviews and the high reviews, there was very little positive to say about John Wayne, and there were mostly people commenting about people in their lives who love John Wayne.
There you go.
So yes, it's the younger generation using Letterbox, going back to see like old relatives' favorite movies or stuff that they've heard about from their childhood. And so I'll read a grouping of these ones. But
Hold
gas.
on. Sorry.
Yep.
I just want to stop you just for 2 seconds and just suggest to everyone you don't have to sit through the whole movie. I've never done it, but just look up clips from the Genghis Khan movie starring John Wayne as Genghis Khan. Just okay, you can keep going.
um, Gaslightinger gives it 1 star and says, "Sadly, I'm legally not allowed to state my opinion of John Wayne."
Yeah. You can't say it in public. I'm gonna get if someone listens to this podcast, bro, they're gonna turn it off.
Dylan Owen says 1.5 stars. Had to boot it by a half star because my granddad enjoyed it. But I've come to the wrong side of Letterbox. Seriously, where are the funny one-liner reviews? Why is everyone so serious? And I shit you not, every single take was either a short one-liner that wasn't that funny about John Wayne, or a novella discussing like the historical implications of John Wayne's legacy and True Grit and how westerns are a dying whore and blah blah. You know, you're like Jesus Christ, man.
Crazy.
Um, Maddie Braits, 2 stars. Deadass. Someone explain to me why John Wayne has legend status.
Okay, okay. I didn't know. I mean, I sort of knew other people knew, but I didn't realize they actually just agreed.
And these are like again the more upvoted reviews. Flint, 3 stars. When the legend becomes fact, print the legend. Or in this case, when the movie star becomes a legend, give him an Oscar. Which I like that one.
Yeah, and that's so true for so many actors. Just an absolute ton of actors.
And then last but not least, just one favorable review to try to keep both parties happy here.
Balance.
Velada gives it 5 stars and says, "True Grit was important for me growing up. Huge annoying teen girls with anger issue representation, uncanny coming of age and female empowerment story of 60s Hollywood, and especially for Hathaway. Touching and strong without being preachy or dull. It's easy to represent while making fun of movies for the broad audience. Darby's great, plus the best Wayne's acting performance. Why was also a huge influence on this screenplay being greenlit. One of my favorites. And yeah, it was equally hard for me to read because typos abound, and this feels like grandma got on the computer."
Yeah, I just don't, man. They brainwashed the whole generation. I feel bad. I feel bad. I don't know how they did it, but they sure as hell did.
They planted that seed hard.
Yeah, I really, I don't know how they did it. They definitely did though. But anyway, is that all?
That's it.
Okay, join us in a few seconds as we talk about the True Grit reboot directed by the Coen brothers. And welcome back to Reboot or Deboot. We lost some of our minutes of our recording, so this might just be a little faster than it was originally intended. But we are now talking about the 2010 version of True Grit, directed and written by the Coen brothers. Big picture,
Sure.
movie's good.
Yeah, very good movie. Jeff Bridges is a fucking beast, and I am really ready to get into specifics with you because there's a good amount to talk about that are good.
Yeah, and also I wondered originally whether this one or the original is closer to the book and how it just feels alive and it just the world is well worn in and just well developed. But specific positives, you go first again.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges, baby. I
Jeff
mean,
Bridges,
the man, the myth, the legend. Again, I won't always do it as I'm calling back what we just said, that
Tron,
was
King
lost on the
Kong,
audio,
Crazy
but
Heart.
yeah, but essentially, he's obviously a well-respected actor with a big, big filmography, and maybe Crazy Heart is arguably his better performance, but, this is definitely top, top, top Jeff Bridges, so if you like him, this is worth checking out just for his performance alone, and plenty of other reasons too.
Yeah, I mean, he's fantastic, and I'll just add the other acting. Matt Damon actually kind of stepped out of his, usual realm of Matt Damon. He's still a little bit, but still he displayed an ability to create or craft a character. Haley Steinfeld is great since this was her second or third role ever. I mean, that's just I mean that this might be one of the best breakout roles of all time, honestly, because she still has a career. Just got awards, or did she get an award for Sinners? Doesn't matter, she was in Sinners. uh and then the direction, I talked about how it's so delicate, and my example I brought up was the bag unfurling of her father's things and his whatever. God, I hate re-recording. Okay. But the Coen brothers, they just you can tell that they have these visions and they commit to that very specific vision, and they know how to convey a feeling or an emotion or just even just an event or something. It feels very deliberate, and that's the make of a good director right there. Any more
Yeah,
for
I
you?
mean, agreed completely, yes, and, um, again, another thing to bring up is just how like what specific reasons why this one was better. And one of those things, in contrast to the original, we talked about sort of the tone and how it looks and how it appears and how they deliver some of that, again, mostly repeated dialogue from the first film. Obviously some exceptions, and part of that is the costuming and the stage design and the lighting, but ultimately really the cinematography, which we both pointed out. And I think, after we finished watching, or after I finished watching it the first time, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole to pull up who this cinematographer was and why it was so obvious and evident that this is like a step above or a cut above the rest. And so the gentleman's name is Sir Roger Deakins. Didn't realize he was knighted and didn't even know his name. But yeah, he just, you know, did a couple small films: Shawshank Redemption, Fargo, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, A Beautiful
Couple
Mind,
Swans.
Skyfall,
He did
Sicario, Blade
Skyfall.
Runner. Yep,
Oh
Blade
man,
Runner 2049, 1917. None of which have beautiful cinematography,
nope.
obviously. So
Bro, Skyfall's one of my favorite just colored movies.
yeah,
Oh
dude,
man.
1917, like that was that year. People couldn't shut the fuck up about the cinematography of that
That's
movie.
true. Yeah, people literally I mean, it's constant. Did you see 1917, bro?
Right.
Uh
So, I
yep.
mean, yeah, what a beast, and it's clear that he elevates this, maybe even more than Jeff Bridges did.
I mean, it's hard to gauge, something as undefinable as that. It's very possible, you could be totally right. But Jeff Bridges did help.
Right, right.
Oh, yep.
Yep, you go. No, I was gonna say that was most of my positive.
I
If
was
you want
going
to
to bring
finish this
up
off.
the character changes, how I enjoyed Maddie's character, how she was more of a point in the story beats where instead of a beef being on the roof and smoking them out, it was her, and there was more time to develop this not familial bond, but this more amicable bond between Rooster and Maddie, and I mean, I guess a little of beef, but whatever. But that just provides more drama and tension to the ending. It gives you more to work with emotionally, and the slight changes they made, I think almost all of them were for the better or superior to the original.
I agree with that.
Any more positives? I got a couple.
Not. Yeah, not me personally. You can finish this off.
I was gonna say the score. I really love the score. I think
Mm,
uh, that motif of reusing "Lean on the Everlasting," whatever that old gospel song. I think that
right,
was great,
right,
especially when they brought it back in the climax as this just swelling and almost a crescendo version of it. More epic, I guess, is the word, but I don't want to call it epic. More grand. Yeah, I just think the score was great. It's instantly puts you into the Western vibe without being just okay, here's a moccasin or whatever, or here's a snake sound. It didn't have to do that, yet it still gave you this Wild West or Western vibes. And I think that's great. Um,
right.
I also, you know what? I actually think this one feels more focused than the original because I mean, I, they did cut out some time because isn't this shorter than the original?
I need to fact check that. I think we said that yes when we were first talking about it, but I don't remember exactly.
So
This one's 110 minutes. Let me come back.
I couldn't specifically tell you what they cut out exactly, but it did just deliver it, I think more succinctly and just more direct. And I think that's all the better.
Yeah, 18 minutes difference.
Yeah, and so if you take out what the overture, whatever that is at the beginning of the first one, probably a 10-minute plus difference. I mean, that's still they must have cut out, quite a bit. And I don't the fact that I couldn't tell you exactly, I think is even better because what they cut out must have not been anything crazy
Right,
or
right,
anything to
relevant.
write home
Right.
about. Um, I think that's. Oh wait, no, no, no. I enjoyed kind of bringing back to the character changes. I enjoyed that Rooster and LaBeef seemed to be more apprehensive towards each other in this one. They almost felt like straight up enemies.
Right, right. Way more tension between them.
Yeah, and it just it gave this great tension or I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, but it gave their relationship more what's the word I'm
LaBeef.
looking for? Not evocative, but something like that. More explosive, volatile. There we go. It made the relationship more volatile, and that LaBeef. I mean, he barely liked anyone. It seemed like he kind of hated everybody and everyone around him, and just Texas Ranger this, Texas Ranger that. And I think that's just due to the script changes and due to how they kind of guided these characters versus the original, or the shootout scene. The fact that Rooster shot LaBeef, or they had this argument whether he shot LaBeef or not. I think that was a great narrative or kind of detail, just to add to that volatility. But I think that's all my specific positives. The re-record kind of got me all confused. I called the movie delicate, good direction, script. Climax
If
was
bridges,
better.
if
Ooh,
bridges, if bridges.
climax way way better, especially because he's using two pistols, two revolvers. That makes more sense than one arming a rifle.
Yeah. True.
Also Jeff Bridges can clearly ride a horse. John Wayne, I don't know. I didn't see any proof that John Wayne could ride a horse.
Right.
It just felt part of the movie, whereas the original climax almost feels like it's kind of tacked on with how weird and unrealistic and stupid or silly it is. This one just, especially with how they kind of drill in the setup of how he charged that one gang of bandits 1-on-7 or something. I think it just had made the climax just more impactful. That's all my positives though. Got any
Oh yeah.
negatives?
I mean, a little bit with the rattlesnake bite in the ending, but
Yeah, me too.
after that, actually nothing else. So if you want to
I
hit it, because it sounds like you probably wrote some real notes on it.
I just had a couple, nothing crazy. My first negative was I understand what they were homaging, if that's a verb, referencing, whatever you want to call it. The dissolve transitions, but damn, if that's not dated, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's so bad.
it's
Like one or two to like
mhm.
emphasize a really momentous scene, like needing a calm down. Like you need to take a beat after it.
Yeah, but they
That
did
makes
it
sense.
a handful
But
of
yes,
times.
yeah, it's like 4 or 5 times this movie, you're like, "Okay, guys."
Yeah, I again, I guess this is totally subjective at this point. Some people might enjoy that it's an homage or reference, whatever, what have you. Who cares? Just personally, it just feels, I don't know, just edit the movie. I mean, the Coen Brothers can edit a freaking movie, or whoever their editor, their friend or whoever, they can edit a movie. So it's weird to just kind of do this old timey, here's a dissolve, and it's really not even crazy, looking or anything. It's not as though the dissolve is like the sun into an eyeball or something crazy. It's nothing like that.
Right. I,
Uh, mhm,
since you brought it up, this is part of, like, my wiki, etcetera, but you brought it up, so I'm just gonna say it here.
mhm.
Um, the movie is edited by Roderick Janes, who, if you don't know, is the shared pseudonym by the Coen brothers.
No
They
way.
only use it for editing. Yes. So most of their
Wow.
movies are edited by Roderick Janes, which is just them.
Okay, so clearly the Coen brothers can edit a movie. I don't even need an asterisk there. So obviously the dissolves were very purposeful now that we have that background. So it's just, I don't know. I think it's just a little too many times. I think once would have been cool and just leave it at once. That way it's kind of this obvious. Okay. It's like when Tarantino and Django Unchained, he did that weird, I don't know what they call it, but it's like zipping zoom where it zooms in really quick. He did that one time and it was awesome because you said, oh, or you thought, oh, that's a reference to spaghetti westerns. Cool. But then this, couple times, few times, all right, I'm good. My second negative is nothing, question mark, because I just couldn't really think of anything until the very end. The double climax, meh, whatever, don't really care. I mean, I guess it's probably how the book goes, so, give it a little leeway. But the actual negative in the end is the awful CG green screen. What was that? When he's
Uh,
running and the stars are behind them. I mean, that was either it was green screen or the lighting was way too intense. I couldn't even tell you which is which because it just looked as though he were just a separate entity. He's just running in this other world behind him. It almost gave that, old school, they're driving in a car and behind them is the video of the road behind them. It almost gave
right.
me that vibe. And it sucks because this movie felt so raw and real and gritty. And then we get this weird, again, I don't know if it was bad CG or bad green screen or the lighting was just too, I don't even know, too intense. I couldn't even tell you if it's lighting. It just looked really weird. Um, but that's
That's funny.
my
I don't
last.
even remember that, so
Oh well, that's my last real negative. I do have an etc. about that. What's the distance from the town to the criminals' hideout field, wherever they go?
how many yards he shot his rifle, that kinda
No, no,
thing?
no, no. The trip to takes them days, multiple days.
Oh, I see, right.
But then he's able to rush her back. Yeah, you kill a horse, whatever. He's able to rush her back in a
Right, by foot?
night.
Right.
I don't know, guys. That's a little, I don't know. I need the numbers. I just need the numbers, is all. I'm not saying it's impossible. I just need the numbers because it didn't look like he rode for 2 days. And it's not, I mean, they took breaks for sleeping, but that seemed like the only break they actually took. So I don't know. I don't know. It just felt weird to me. Do you have any
No, no,
etc.? Oh, yep.
now that you bring it up, it's weird, but yeah, I hadn't thought about it during the movie. Um, no other etcetera. I was just gonna do the, normal things.
I have three random ones. One, young Domhnall Gleeson. He was the criminal who got stabbed by the other criminal, the guy from Ex
Oh,
Machina and
yes,
stuff.
yeah, Moon, yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
I thought that was fun that he was, young and I don't think he really was a name, at the time. So that, that was cool because the original did that as well. Two, the light racism or whatever. What was that? I guess it's, realistic in a way, but like the Native American guy getting hanged at the beginning,
right.
okay, kind of funny in a grim way. But then when he's just kicking the kids, the Native American kids, I don't know. I don't even know if it's racist. I just think there are light tones of racism if that makes
No, no,
sense.
I hear you. I don't know if it was to try to sort of give some credibility or authenticity to the of the timeness that they're trying to
Yeah,
like
and I'm
employ
not
here,
saying,
but
oh,
yeah,
they did this stereotype. That was like, no, that's not what they did. It's just why, I
right.
guess, maybe is the
Right,
question.
right, right. No, I mean, and there's levels to it, right? Like if you're gonna do a piece on, the 1940s or 50s in the US and you don't have, like the prototypical like colored water fountain or bathroom or
Right.
something like that, you know, that obviously is racist, but it's not like the people employing those devices aren't themselves racist. That concept is racist.
Yeah, they
It's
didn't
a totally
pull it
different
out of
thing to be
nowhere.
like showing a lynching scene in like a dramedy, It's like
Right. Yeah. Okay. I was just, that's just an etc. I was just, And my
Mhm.
last etc. is I'm so jealous of the Coen brothers that they like each other enough to work together.
Right.
Could you
Yeah. Tough.
imagine working with
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
brother?
Yeah.
God
The
damn.
Peanut Brothers movie's gonna be crazy.
They must be tight. I mean, they must be tight. I mean, I know they've kind of split up or whatever, do their own thing, but I mean, for 20 years they were working together. I just couldn't even imagine. So I'm
And did they
jealous
really
of
split up? Like, they still do movies together, right?
Yeah, no, no, I don't think so. I think they're solos now. I mean, once you make 20 movies with with the same guy, I think it's okay to kind of go your own way. It's not like they
I guess
won't
I
see
just
each other at Thanksgiving or something.
right. I guess I just assumed that they were still making movies together. They've just been making movies separate for some period of time.
But no, that's all my notes. Letterbox, IMDb, what have you.
Yep. We'll start with Wiki. The big things I've already said, but Roderick Janes, pseudonym, um, cinematographer, fucking beast, Sir Roger Deakins. It cost reportedly about 35 to 38 million. Different sources quote different things, and some people's absolute like payroll weren't disclosed, so hard to know. But any guesses on the box office? Spent
110.
35. 252 million.
That was
Fucking
me twice.
blockbuster.
That was me twice. I went to see it opening weekend, and then literally a few weeks later, someone asked me to go. I said, "Hell yeah!"
Pretty cool.
I mean, it
Um,
deserves it, and especially doing this on a 30 million. I mean, that's a lot of money. Yeah, 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 whatever. But good on them for keeping it a little low.
Agreed completely. I was just trying to convert these figures, but the converter website is not. There you
Hey, better
go.
converter website.
It says this is not a number. This is a fucking number.
It's an imaginary number.
Oh, so that's 380 mil in today dollars.
Wow, inflation.
It'd be doing its thing. Um, Anywho, that's that. Couple points. This was obviously super well received. It was nominated for 10 different awards: Best Director, Best Picture, Best Screenplay, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Costume Design, Sound Mixing, Sound Editing.
I support all of
Um,
these.
it didn't win any of them.
Hey, I mean, hey,
And
being nominated
of
that many
course,
times,
I know, it's great. It's a big win for them. And I mean, literally, her first feature length film
right?
was a nomination. I mean, that's dope in and of
That's a home
itself.
run.
Um, but what I wanted to point out was that even though we both liked the score, I didn't specifically recall it, but now that you bring up that it was all hymns, I was like, oh fuck, I do remember that, and I do remember liking that. Because it was basically all reuses of hymns,
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't win best original score. Like
That's
those are pre-composed musics, and they were used as score, not soundtrack.
that's not cool.
Yeah, so it was
That's
deemed
not cool at
ineligible.
all.
But it probably would have won if everyone thought the same as us.
Yeah, but it's a great kind of reuse. I mean, you're not gonna count it if like if I don't even know what movie a movie has remixes of songs. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they're right. Still good though.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, because then all those trailer songs where they remake,
slow down, pop
put the
song.
dub. Yeah.
Hmm.
You make my head
Yeah, I mean,
or you
I
spin
think
my
that's
head,
already
sorry.
been a thing. But
Um,
yeah.
and, that's that, and then we have our trivia. Obviously, not a ton to say here, but a couple of interesting ones. Child labor laws obviously influence when child actors are working nowadays, and so there are many night scenes, and there are very particular laws preventing children from working at night. So there was like an adult double anytime there was a over the shoulder for any of the adult scenes. So basically, all her night scenes were basically shot during the day, face on, with lighting, and
Huh.
then all night scenes where someone else was talking or they didn't have to have her face, it was an adult over the shoulder, like, or her back.
Huh. Yeah. That's actually, yeah, that's pretty interesting.
15,000 girls applied for the role.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Dang. 15,000. I know I don't know if I know 15,000 just actors everywhere.
And just an interesting aside, again, pretty much all these are about Haley Steinfeld, but she actually technically had the most screen time and is the protagonist, pretty much definitionally,
Right? But she got
but
supporting actress.
correct, but is only a supporting.
Huh.
Yeah,
Huh.
so yeah, something about children or I don't know, sexism. Who knows?
Didn't Anthony Hopkins win Best Leading Actor and he was only in Silence of the Lambs for 20 minutes or something?
Yep.
So, I don't know. They
Yeah, I
determined
mean, I'm
that.
not saying it's not precedented. I just don't know. I don't know how they determine it. Is
Yeah.
all I was getting at.
Huh.
Um, John Wayne and Jeff Bridges were both 60 ish. Wayne was 62, Bridges 60 for their roles, even though the character in the book is 40.
Well, I mean, back
Right.
then,
Right. 60s now, 40 then.
bro, I mean, yeah, I mean, you look at, 18-year-olds in World War II and they look like grown ass adult men, so I couldn't even imagine what they looked like in the West.
And then last thing, which was also in the wiki, the lawyer for Maddie, that voiceover.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
Yeah, but I didn't write it down. Hold on, who was it? Um, hold on. Shit, no, I didn't write it. Did I write it down?
Not quite my tempo.
No, I didn't write it down.
J.K. Simmons.
Ah, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it was some.
Rushing.
Yup.
So that's that. True Grit, Letterboxd, 3.8 average, amongst our highest. I mean, very, very well liked. Reviews
3.8.
are
This movie can't crack a 4.
no movie can crack a 4 is what
That's
I'm trying
so
to tell you.
crazy.
I don't know what the highest rated are, but we can do that after. In no particular order, well, actually, in a very particular order, Nisha gives it a half star. The real true grit is when Jesus Christ, I can't read. The real true grit is when your wrist hurts from checking your watch because you want this shit to end already. Um, I
What?
don't know if they were watching the old one and comment on the new one, but surely there's no way they said that about this one. That just
What?
doesn't make sense.
Again, I'll reiterate, I didn't want this movie to end. I wanted
Right.
I wanted more.
Yeah.
What
And
the
then someone even commented, haha, yeah, it was very boring. So, like, I guess that's a shared sentiment
See,
amongst the 10 people who feel that way.
that is exactly the example. I mean, i.e. this, that I don't like calling movies boring. I
Right.
just I don't like it because what that person's implying is very different than what I'm implying by boring. So, yeah.
Tony gives it a 1 star and says, my God, this yeehaw bullshit was a chore to sit through. The poster's very fitting, though. It's almost as dull as the movie itself.
The,
And
the
this
poster
got
does suck.
200 likes, and it's about, 8 other people in the comments agreeing.
Wild. The poster does suck, I will say that. But that's wild. I really want to know. I mean, I guess you can look at their letterboxd, but we're not going to do that with everyone. I really want to know what their best movies are or favorite movies are.
Yeah, maybe we need to have an after podcast where we record all of our just like bits and commentary on all these fucked up people.
That'd be
That could be
pretty
a good
good.
premise. Um, Anywho,
Letter doxed. Boom.
nice. Or even docs, like doctors. I don't know. There's something there. Addie Cohen, 2.5 stars. Feels like the most generic Western I've ever seen. And that says a lot because considering the Western genre itself is mostly B movies. Terrible editing, flat and boring characters, and a story that feels so uninteresting and unrealized. At least the Roger Deakins cinematography was great as always.
I just I just can't even
I'm
imagine hearing this script and seeing this movie and thinking cliche.
right. Well, I don't curate these, but I do pick out what is most agreed upon. And I do think there's a pattern here, which is anyone who thought this was mids to bad basically just doesn't like Westerns. That's how I'm boiling this down. Like,
But
doesn't matter how much they like movies, they just don't like Westerns.
but I mean, to me, just me personally, mentally, this movie's barely a Western in my mind. You know, that
Yeah, but that's
the
because you've watched a
actual,
lot of
I
Westerns.
mean, I have, but it's
See,
still, though, barely a
to someone who
Western.
hasn't watched a Western, you have cowboys, you have sort of the
Well, I
Wild West,
know it
and you
is
have a thick accent, and that's a Western, and that's it.
I know it is a Western movie. It just doesn't feel like a Western movie.
Okay.
What's that?
Semantics. 3.5 stars by Madison. Any man in this movie, quote, unintelligible Tom Hardy grunting. Me. What are you saying? I'm so scared. Apparently that resonated with 700 fuckers. But overall they liked it. Like, I'm so confused by
Wasn't
these reviews.
and I don't even think Rooster was that bad, unless he was playing the drunkard when he was sober.
Right.
When his character was sober, I think I heard him pretty well. But I heard him better than freaking Tom Hardy as Bane. That's for sure. But okay,
David Sims gives it 5 stars and says, if you'd like to sleep in a coffin, it would be all right.
true. I mean, that's a fun quote.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it. That's all I got.
Oh, okay. Well, the age-old question: reboot or deboot? I don't know if we really need to answer it explicitly, but definitely a
Reboot.
reboot. I mean, you'd have to torture me physically to get me to admit that this is a deboot in any way, shape, or form. But I think that about does it for episode 21. Join us in 2 weeks. Well, week and a half, doesn't matter. Join us next time on episode 22 when we review The Wedding Banquet, the 1993 film, and its 2025 remake. Until then, we are out of there.
Peace.
There.
They're the worst.